Welcome to the Dr. Dear Show live on Facebook and YouTube. It is Friday, October the 14th, and we are here to talk about toxic mothers. Yeah, and did you have a toxic mother? But before we get started, we are going to check in and see how everybody's week been. How are you feeling? How is everything going? When you come in, let me know you're here. And don't forget to like and share this video. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, we are live on YouTube and Facebook, and we will be talking about toxic mothers. Did you have a toxic mother? Is the question that we're going to ask. My week has been pretty good. It's been pretty busy. It flew by kind of fast. And we're here Friday. Hey, sis, how are you? Oh, I need to put my thing on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we did have a good mom, but we haven't started yet, sis. We're gonna let everybody come in and um, join in before we start talking about did you have a toxic mother? Um, and we're going to watch a short little video that kind of talks about um, toxic mothers, what that is, and or were you a toxic mother like growing up? But yeah, before we get started, check in. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling. How's the weather in Virginia, Jenny? How's the weather in Virginia? And when you come in, make sure you click like and share this video. I'm going to do the same thing. I hope everybody out there is registered to vote. I know in Atlanta, our early voting starts November 17th. I think November 17th through, let me make sure I'm quoting that right. November 17th through November 4th. I mean, October 17th through November 4th is when our early, yes. I gotta blow this thing up. The words seem small. Okay. Mm, you had a long streak, Jenny. Oh, there we go. A long, stressful week. Yeah, I feel you. Mine was long too. Went by kind of slow. I'm tired. I have to. We're doing a kidney walk tomorrow morning, so I got to be up at like 6:30 and be there at 7 to do some Zumba for the kidney people who are going to be doing a kidney walk. Um, hey, Karen, how are you? You made it home already? Oh, your surgery date is December 12th. Jenny, right before Christmas? Hey, I'm assuming this is D with the Facebook user. Yep, I, I'm assuming. Hey, Kelly Nicole. Yes, good for you, Jenny. You excited or nervous? Um, Karen, so welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dr. Dare Show live on Facebook and YouTube. Um, we are going to be talking about toxic mothers. Did you have a toxic mother? And if you did or you didn't, share your experiences with your mom. We're gonna watch this short clip of a video. Oh, you're nervous, Jenny? You'll be fine. And so we're gonna watch a short clip of a video. This lady that I found on YouTube, she does a good job at explaining like what a toxic mother is and kind of the traits and kind of if you had a toxic mother, what are the how it does it impact you as an adult? Because what I do see a lot in therapy is that people, not only the mother but the father as well, if they were toxic, it kind of bleeds over into the child, and then when they become adults, they have a lot of problems. So welcome, 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 y'all. When you come in, make sure you click like and share this video, and we will get started at 8:40. It's 8:35 right now, so we got like 5 minutes to give people a chance to come in. Let me know how your week has been. Um, Let me know. I know Jenny said her week was stressful already. I mean, she had a long, stressful week. Karen says she made it home. Let's see. Cole Kelly says shine bright, but welcome, welcome, welcome. So, yes, we will be talking about toxic moms. And what I always tell my clients, we're not bashing your mother or your father because some parents just did the best that they could with what they had. But then some parents are just simply toxic. And so we want to talk about that. So we're going to watch a little clip of of a brief video, and then we will have a discussion afterwards. Oh, Karen says, you said, what does it say on my mug? Oh, let's see. But first, coffee. But anybody knows me, I don't drink coffee, so this is herbal tea. But first, coffee. I guess so. Some people need coffee to get started, but I don't drink coffee because it'll increase my anxiety, so I can't drink it. Um, yeah. So, if you're just joining, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dr. Dare Show live on Facebook and YouTube. We meet every other Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we talk about topics. And there's no right or wrong answer. And I'm not going to force my opinion on you, and I don't want you to force your opinion on me. But tonight's topic is toxic mothers. Did you have a toxic mother? And we will get started shortly. So what's going on out there, y'all? How's your week been going? It's over now, but yeah. Make sure you're voting this election. I know in Atlanta, early voting starts October 17th through November 4th. I'm pulling it up again. Yes, October 17th for Atlanta. October 17th through November 4th. So get in there and get that vote. It's important. Yes. You're just glad it's Friday. Yes. Yes. And don't you wish that Friday could just stay there and not move? And because the feeling of Friday that you don't have to go to work on Saturday and Sunday for some of us, and you can just make it stay there, you wish? Yes, yes, yes. Glad it is Friday. Any weekend plans out there? Mm-mm-mm, 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 mm-mm-mm. Kelly, you went to the urgent care? I'm going to the urgent care, just getting up from the meds. Oh no, you have to call me when we get off. Oh, you were dancing with me. Who is Facebook user? You were dancing with me. Saturday needs to. Karen says Saturday needs to be 48 hours long. I agree. Um. Oh, Tanisha, why does your thing say? Hey, Tanisha, why does your thing say Facebook user? Are you in disguise like Janet Jackson? Um. Jenny, did you like The Woman King? I think it was really good. I'm gonna have to go back and see it again. Um, Go back and see it again so that I can see, like, re make sure I didn't miss anything that was significant in there. Yeah, Jenny, it was really good. It was a good movie. Okay, y'all. So let's get into this video. I'm gonna show you a little video clip of This lady's name is Bree. Hold on, let's find her. Her name is Breeny Lee. And so we're gonna listen to her video really quickly, and she's gonna talk about toxic mothers. Let me know when you can hear it. Hold on.
I put food on the table. You better be grateful I put clothes on your back. It's like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about toxic parents, specifically toxic mothers. My video next week, I will be talking about toxic and narcissistic fathers and the effect it has on their children and what we can do about it. So in this video, I want to start off by saying there is no such thing as a perfect parent. There's always going to be something that they don't do or that they do that will disappoint you. However, there are parents, and I have witnessed with my own eyes, that are incredibly toxic and destructive to a child's self-esteem. I personally remember feeling so powerless in a situation because I love that child. I love that young girl dearly. And I felt helpless because it's like, what can I really do? That's your mother, you're underage, and you have to listen to her and you have to live with her. And there was a time when that mother told me to tell the child to stop doing something that the mother herself was doing. And I outrightly told her no, because of everything that you're telling me to tell her not to do, you're doing it yourself. Do not be a hypocrite. Children do not listen to what you say, they do what you do. And that's why it's so important, the videos that I make on this channel, because some of you are mothers and some of you will be mothers, and you'll be so surprised how easy it is to damage your children. And so in today's video, I am talking about toxic mothers, and a lot of what I'm going to talk about in this video has its roots in control. And I say this to my friends and my family all the time: when people don't feel that they are in control of their own lives, they will seek to control others. And let's be clear, the ultimate role of a parent, specifically mothers, a mother's role is to meet the needs of their child. Point blank, period. That is exactly what you signed up for when you gave birth or decided to have a child. You are there to meet every one of that child's needs, not the other way round. And being a mother is the most selfless role you'll ever play in your life. Sorry about the lighting. And unfortunately, a lot of women have the God-given ability to produce children, but they do not have the ability to raise and to nurture those children. And the worst kind of mother in the world is a self-centered and selfish mother. The world literally revolves around their wants, their needs, their desires, and they do not see their child as a human being separate from them, as an individual, as an autonomous being. They see their child as property. And with that concept in their minds, that's how a lot of mothers, maybe well-meaning, maybe not, but that is exactly how they become toxic. Have you ever experienced a mother who truly believes that she owns you? You better be grateful I put food on the table. You better be grateful I put clothes on your back. It's like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Babies can't provide for themselves, can they? It's like they expect you to be grateful for doing what they're supposed to do. And I am thankful that my mother has never used that against me. And because she's never used it against me, it makes me want to give her the world, because I understand, we all understand the pain, the sacrifice, the suffering that mothers go through to even birth us into this world, to even wait on us hand and foot, to wipe our ass, to feed us, to make sure that we're warm, safe, secure, and protected. We know that instinctively how grateful we are for our mothers. But it is so hard to be grateful when they keep reminding you as though to guilt trip you. It's like, I did not ask to be born. That was your choice. And a lot of toxic mothers, they know it was not your choice to be born. But instead of taking accountability or taking the blame on themselves, they'll rather project that onto you. Instead of beating themselves up, they will beat on their children, and it's wrong. And I plead with you mothers watching me, please do not guilt trip your children. you're supposed to be an example to them. If you want your children to be grateful, then you be grateful to them first. When have you ever told your child, I'm so grateful for you? Most mothers don't do that because they feel like they can only be grateful for their children if their children are doing something for them. That's not unconditional love. That is conditional, narcissistic type love. So let's
Helen Hadsell was able to win any competition she took part in. She was known as the contest queen because she had won.
Let's talk about the traits of a toxic mother. A toxic mother lacks empathy, sympathy, and she is emotionally unavailable. And as a child of a narcissistic, toxic mother, you may feel invisible. And the thing is, a child understands pain from the reaction of their mother. I'm sure you've seen those videos online when someone's holding.
So what do y'all think about what you heard so far? Anybody have any comments? So the first thing that she went over was that a mother that lacks empathy, sympathy, and that is emotionally unavailable. That means they're never giving that child a I'm sorry or oh my gosh, you hurt yourself. What do y'all think about what y'all heard so far? So the first trait of a toxic mother is one that lacks empathy, sympathy, and is emotionally unavailable. Any comments so far? But we'll keep going.
The babies hit their head. No! And the baby starts reacting to your reaction, not because of the pain, but because of your reaction. Children mirror their parents. That's the way they learn. That's the way they learn to talk. That's the way they learn to walk. Children are constantly mirroring their parents. And as a parent, you are supposed to mirror that child's feelings to them and let them know that it's going to be okay. Toxic mothers, on the other hand, do not do that. They are emotionally neglectful. And by that, they are teaching the child inadvertently that you are not important and that your feelings do not matter. Another thing that toxic mothers do is they dismiss your feelings. When mothers dismiss your pain, even when they were the ones that caused it, it causes the child to just shut down. It then creates a distance, an emotional distance, a physical distance between the child and the mother. Because what the mother is communicating to the child is, I'm not a safe place for you. I do not have time for you. You cannot tell me anything and your secrets are not safe with me. I don't have the capacity to take on your feelings. This is what is mirroring back to the child. Another trait of a toxic mother is they are disrespectful, and they are disrespectful to your boundaries. They have no boundaries. When a mother crosses boundaries, for example, reading their child's diary, looking through their child's phone, bursting into their room, using the bathroom without knocking when you're in there, these are all crossed boundaries, and it is a form of control. And not seeing the child as a separate entity to them, but seeing the child as though they are part of them. And to that parent, they don't feel like they have to ask for permission. You're my child, and that speaks of ownership. That speaks of property. It's like, yeah, I can do whatever I want because you're my daughter or my son. And like the story and the situation I shared earlier, she would always be like, I don't care, she's my daughter. So what this kind of behavior teaches the child is poor boundaries. It teaches them that they don't deserve their own privacy. It actually objectifies them, and they start to see themselves as objects, as property. It teaches them that they don't deserve their own space. They don't deserve their own mind. They don't deserve their own feelings, and they don't deserve their own privacy. Another trait of a toxic mother is that she is demanding. When a mother treats you like a child and you are past the age of 18. It is unacceptable, and she has major control issues. And some mothers can be so dominating and so overbearing that they will begin to manipulate you when they don't get what they want from you. And a lot of mothers can have extremely high expectations for their child because secretly they want you to do all the things that they couldn't do. So technically they're trying to live their life again through you. It's like God gave them a second chance to live, and that is just not true. Your life is your life. Their life is their life. They had their life, and it's secretly disguised as I want the best for you. Well, if you want the best for me, let me make my own decisions.
Right.
And again, a healthy parent will say to themselves, I've had my life. I'm going to support my children in making the best decisions, but there's a difference between support and control. And a lot of controlling parents, when they don't get what they want, they start to use manipulation. And this is the thing, a lot of mothers need to know when to move from that domineering, authoritative voice in their child's life to more of a counselor. A counselor does not tell their clients what to do, but they navigate them in the right direction, and they are always there for them no matter what decision they make. Of course, we want the best for our children. Who does not? However, a good mother knows that their child is going to make their own decisions in life. A good mother knows how to counsel and not force herself on her child. And a lot of mothers need to cut the umbilical cord that joins them to their children after 10, 15, 20 years. Another way that toxic mothers try to control and manipulate their children is by comparing them to other children or comparing them to their other children. And what this does is it creates a deep sense of unworthiness in their children. It's the whole guilt tripping you into becoming someone else instead of lovingly encouraging them to be the best version of themselves. Which brings me on to my next point. A lot of mothers teach their children conditional love. And this is probably one of the most dangerous and toxic things to do. Anyone that is a mother knows that the love that they should have, supposed to have for their children is the love that is unconditional. This child came out of you. There's no way that you can love something conditionally when it's a part of you. It came from you. And this brings me back to a lot of mothers who are dealing with self-hatred. And so they begin to hate their children, hate their daughters, envious of their daughters, jealous of their daughters. But when you teach your child conditional love, what is teaching them and what they will grow up believing is that they are only worthy of love when they are being good, when they are getting good grades, when they get a good job, when they are making good money, when they are looking good, when they have a good husband. And ultimately, it has nothing to do with the child. It's to do with the narcissistic mother who only feels joy and happy when she looks good. It's not even about you doing good. It's about how it's making her look as a mother. The worst thing that you can do to a toxic mother is make her look bad. Why? Because you are then confirming what she deeply believes about herself, which is that she is a bad mother and a bad person. And there's nothing worse to a narcissistic mother than her looking bad to other people. But what happens when you teach a child that they have to perform to deserve love? It turns them into actors and actresses and not real human beings with real human up and down emotions. Mothers need to teach their daughters that they are loved unconditionally and regardless. And a lot of parents believe that being harsh to their children or giving their children tough love is what's going to push them to be successful. But it only does the opposite internally. Just look at Hollywood. A bunch of amazingly broken babies. Successful on the outside, but crushed inside.
I love that I have WW as a really gentle way to check in on myself on a daily basis, to remind myself of the
spirit on the inside. And a lot of celebrities want to get the adoration and admiration from strangers from the world because they couldn't get it from their parents or their mothers at home. But an environment of unconditional love where you feel supported regardless is where children will flourish both inside and out. I'm not saying that the occasional tough love is not appropriate, but when your relationship with your child is constantly tough love, where is the love? Word to Black Eyed Peas. Another toxic trait of toxic mothers is when they gaslight you, make you second guess your own reality and make you second guess yourself. It's like them throwing stones and hiding their hands. It's when they do wicked and evil things to you and act like you're the one that is overreacting or act like you imagined that. This form of psychological abuse is dangerous. What happens is the child does not learn to trust themselves, because how can they when they are always painted out to be a liar? Another thing toxic mothers do is they insult their children or make their children feel self-conscious by insinuating things. Why is your hair so short? Why do your feet look like that? You got your daddy's whole face. Why do you eat like that? Or the even more direct ones. You're ugly. You're stupid. You're dumb. You can't do anything right. You're a fool. You're retarded. These are the very sticks and stones that crush children permanently. Nothing hurts worse than being insulted by the one who brought you here. And the thing is, a lot of toxic mothers are judgmental to their children, critical of their children, because they are judgmental and critical of themselves. A lot of mothers carry around shame and it just oozes out of them. They can't even control it. They are carrying around shame, and until they forgive themselves, they will continue to be toxic and dangerous to their children. In the same breath, toxic mothers embarrass their children publicly. Only God knows why a parent will take delight in publicly embarrassing their children, but I believe it is a form of control. And one of the most annoying things about a toxic mother is that they never take accountability. Accountability is a bad word, is a curse word for toxic mothers. Toxic mothers never apologize, nor do they ever take accountability. Why? Because they cannot let you see that they are human too, just like you. Even though that's all you see when you look at them, a whole human mess. And others have this God complex, and to say sorry or to admit wrong would be for them to take on the position as the child and to therefore be submissive to you. But mothers, please hear me out. Lead by example. Teach your kids to apologize by apologizing when you're wrong. It is okay to be humble. It doesn't put you beneath them. It doesn't make you look weak. It is actually a sign of strength. And our children need to know that it's okay to be wrong without being a wrong'un. And one of the most annoying things with toxic mothers, and if you have a toxic mother, it may be very difficult to explain to other people, because one thing that toxic mothers are good at is putting on a facade, acting like mother of the year. And toxic mothers hate criticism because it further reveals to them how much of a failure they already believe that they are. Toxic mothers live for the affirmation of others, because the truth is, inside, they are still the little broke girl seeking affirmation from her own mother, who dead and gone. With all that said, I have the greatest compassion for toxic mothers. Why? Because toxic mothers are simply just little broken girls, probably with no direction from their own parents. And
So, what do y'all think? What are your thoughts? She says toxic mothers are nothing but broken girls trying to figure things out. Oh, Kelly has. I got to go back to Karen first, and then I'll come back to Kelly because Karen made a comment. Let's see, is it right there? Um, let's find you, Karen. Karen said, very insightful. Um, I never thought about the lack of empathy and sympathy being associated with a toxic mother. Yeah, the mom, according to like what she was saying, is a toxic mom is never going to show that child any empathy or sympathy, and it's always going to be tough love. And I think that happens in the African American community a lot, is that we believe in tough love, and that's how we should treat our children. But it has to be a balance between tough. You can do a little tough love, but you also got to show that other side, that you love your child and that they matter. And I hear a lot of people not. I think in the church too, they teach us children should be seen and not heard. But children are little adults, and so if you start taking away some of that, they don't know how to be an adult. Trust me, I see it so much in therapy when the parents are so hard and make the child feel like they can't make a choice, can't make decisions, that they always got to make the parents got to make decisions. What happens is that child becomes an adult and then doesn't know how to make their own decisions. They're calling around town, calling all of their friends, trying to ask, what should I do, what should I do, where should I go, what should I. And it's like, my thing as a therapist, I'm trying to empower them, like, you can make your own decisions, but they've been under toxic moms and toxic dads so long that they don't trust themselves. And so, yeah, I got off on a soapbox with that. Okay. Good stuff. Thank you for that, Karen. And Kelly says, let me see. Um, tough topic causes some people tough topic causes some people won't tell the truth about their interaction with their parent or parents because they're afraid of being judged. Most mothers are mirroring how their mothers treated them. Yes. Hold on. I'm trying to read this thing and undo that. Um, hold on. Most mothers are mirroring how their mothers treated them. They'll never admit to treating you like crap. It's always be you, never them. It's always you, never them. Making them accountable makes makes I'm sorry, this stuff is so small. Makes makes the person they make sure anyone who is willing to listen in the family and will know about it. Passing this toxic behavior down to their kids because they don't know anything else. Emotional and verbal abuse will become your love language towards others if you don't recognize it. I'm sorry, this thing's cutting this off. Okay. Oh, here we go. So I'll finish the rest. Emotional and verbal abuse will become your love language towards others if you don't recognize it. Great video, full of facts. Yes, so a lot of parents pass on these toxic traits, and that was very real, very well said, Kelly. Um, so let's break down your part because now I can see it. Tough topic because some people won't tell the truth about their interactions with their parent or parents because they're afraid of being judged. Um, Most mothers are mirroring how their mothers treated them. That's it. So some of these traits are passed on from generation to generation to generation because we think tough love is how children are supposed to be treated. And I always say, if there's not a balance in any kind of relationship, it's always going to turn out bad. And then Kelly says, most mothers, okay, mirroring how they were treated. Yep. They'll never admit to treating you like crap. It's always you, never them. Yep. And that's what the lady was saying in this video, is that they don't take accountability for their negative action toward their children. And it's always, and poor children, you just take it because this is your mom. This is the person that gave birth to you. So you are, of course, you're going to do whatever they say, but not realizing that later down the road, some of these toxic behaviors are passed on to you. Thank you for sharing that, Kelly. And Jenny says, but some parents don't know how to be a parent. Exactly. And, that's why I share this video, because some of these things that that lady mentioned are very, very, I mean, people may be doing them and not realizing that they're hurting their kids. So when I became a therapist, one of the instructors told us, this is how delicate it is when you're a parent. If you tell your child, you take them to the grocery store and there's a candy, you know how every grocery store has that candy shelf, and you tell your child, pick anything on that shelf that you want. You can have anything on that shelf you want, but as soon as they pick touch one thing. No, don't get that because they got too much sugar. Oh no, well don't get that one because that one had. But you gave them a choice, but then you took it back. So therefore, something as simple as that can make them start to think to not trust their own choices in life. Trust me, I have a lot of clients right now whose parents are overbearing, and they were overbearing when they were children, and now these adults can't even make simple decisions because that parent was so overbearing. And so if you know anybody that's young, a new parent, please share this video. That video was very um it had a lot of good facts in there. And Karen says amen, Jenny, and then Karen says amen, Kelly. Um so yeah, do you think, and then one thing that the lady was saying is, the mom does not give the children boundaries, like walking in their room, not announcing that they're, what's the famous saying that parents say? This is my house. You don't close any doors. You don't do this. You don't do that. But that's teaching the child not to, know how to have boundaries. That is the child. I mean, it is your house, and I guess you could see if they were doing something they shouldn't be doing, but you got to give your child privacy. You got to let them, because they are many adults, and so being too strict is not good either. So, what are your thoughts out there? I'm just going on and on and on. Okay, and what else did she say? Dismiss your feelings, and that causes the child to shut down. So when your parents are not listening to like why you're upset or trying to understand why you're upset, and they're just dismissing that that negatively impacts the child as well. What else? Any other thoughts about that video? I just thought it was very insightful, and I wanted to bring it to kind of identify what toxic mothers are. And again, I want to make sure that we're not bashing moms, because mothers do the best they can. Some of this stuff you probably were taught by your mom, because you think, stay in a child's place, you punish a child, that child's space is, you own the house, so you get to tell them what to do and all that. That's all fine, but you need to give that child back. You need to give that child their own space and boundaries. And I know some older people probably looking at this like, no, no, no. You'll spoil the child and they'll be all over the place. But then you have the clients that I have that can't even make a simple decision, that are struggling. Karen says, I'm so blessed that my parents were compassionate and accountable, and they wanted to know what our opinions and emotions were. My parents respected us and treated us like we're a blessing. That is awesome. And I had good parents as well. Um, like I don't, I mean, I think I didn't have any um what, like punishment and stuff. I didn't know what that was. Like I was kind of free to do whatever, but I mean, we were raised in the church, so I didn't go crazy, but I was able to be myself and not feel like I was constantly restricted. Jenny says, I was told when you have a child, their mind is like a blank piece of paper. So what? Yep. So what you give to them, and that's a good analogy. What you give to them, you're filling that blank slate up. That's a good point, Jenny. What your child is blank. And so the things that you do, like the lady was saying in the video, you have to be the example to your child. If you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, or you yelled at the child because you thought they did something but the other child did it, you need to apologize to that child, instead of just assuming that, oh, I'm the parent, so I'm yeah, you are the parent, but you got to teach them how to be good adults, successful adults. Because what happens is, if you're making decisions, all the decisions for your children, they're going to grow up not knowing how to make decisions and asking every Tom, Dick, and Harry, um, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Instead of thinking for themselves. Um, oh, and Jenny, to her point, Jenny was saying her full statement was, I was told that you have a child, their mind is like a blank piece of paper. So what? So So I guess you're saying they'll be spoiled if you don't put all these rules and regulations. Yeah, there has to be a balance though. Like there has to be punishment, but then there has to be nurturing and love, and you know that balance has to be there. Because if you're never given that, it's like what Kelly was saying. You grow up and then you don't know how to love. You're struggling with having a relationship with other people because you didn't get you know the nurturing piece. You got was the punishment piece. And why are you here? And then a lot of parents, um they have children and just don't even like the child the entire time that the child is here. And that hurts the child. Nicole says mothers only give um what they have. And yes, and that's the first thing that I tell clients when they come in, because I don't want this to be a mother bashing show. Is that some mothers just did the best that they can. So if they came out of a toxic environment that they didn't process the thing, then they're going to pass that on to their children. So if their mom and dad beat them like abusive beating, then they're gonna pass that same thing on to their children. Like I got spankings and stuff, but I wasn't. I had a balance. I knew that my mom and dad loved me. That our family, we had balance. Like I had good parents too. Me and Jenny had my sister on here. We had good parents, not toxic at all. Um, and so, oh, what she said? Oh, was Jenny saying that I was spoiled? Is that what you saying, Karen? That my sister was saying I was spoiled? Um, what else? So Kelly said mothers only give what they have. I read that one already. You're calling out your brother, Karen, Jenny. That's what Karen said. um, I kind of was. I guess I was balance. Yeah, it has to be a balance in every relationship. There has to be the punishment, but then there has to be the nurturing and the love. And you can't just always just be yelling at your child. And I've seen parents do that. I've seen parents, that's all their language is yelling at the kid. Go sit down, go do this, go do that. You don't have nothing better to do. Gah. It's like, gosh, give it a break. And Kelly says, a lot of us grew up without emotional intelligence due to how they were raised. If the parent doesn't have it, they can't give it. But at the same time, you would think when you know better, you'll do better. Yes, but some parents, and that's a good point, but some parents never learn to do better. It's especially, you got to think, if your parent is like, we'll say the youngest parent, like 25 to 30 years old, they learn, that's 25 years or 30 years of learning how to be a parent from their parent. And so it's hard to try to get somebody to change, especially if it was a really toxic background, because to them, what we think is toxic to them is normal. And so that's where a lot of people was like, well, I got a beating when I was young, I'm gonna beat my kids. Or hey, I got hit in the head with I'm just being dramatic. I got hit in the head with a baseball bat when I was little. I'm gonna do the same thing. So it's just, that's why these videos are important, to stop like passing generational toxic behaviors on to the next generation. It's like, no, these little simple things make, and I see it in therapy. I keep saying that, but I do see it in therapy, and it's hard to see. And the first thing we do is we explore the background. And 9 times out of 10 comes from those parents, mom or dad, not just mom or dad. So again, parents only do what they know what to do. That's why I always think that there should be a recommendation or a course that is recommended, or you have to, once you get pregnant, um, a mother and father course that you have to take just to kind of go over stuff like this. A required course when you get pregnant. Let's see. Jenny asked the question to the audience, is like, what do you think about being the child's friend? Um, What do y'all think? I think, well, I'll let y'all talk first and then I'll what do you think about being the child's friend? What do y'all think? What do you think about being the child's friend? And then we'll go to Karen's comment and then we'll go to Tanisha's comment. But the question up right now is what do you think about being the child's friend? I see that a lot too. So I just want to know what y'all think about that. What do you think about being the child's friend? You know, the mom and the child, the daughter hangs out, goes shopping. Um, the child gets to do whatever they want because they're friends with the mom, and what do y'all think about that scenario? I know what my opinion is, but I want to hear what y'all say. What do you think about being the child's friend? So nobody spoke up. I'll say my opinion. I think again it's back to balance. Like you yeah, exactly, Jenny. Boundaries. You can't be the child's friend. You can, but there needs to be a balance. Like if if the child is doing something wrong, there still should be some type of punishment. But then, you have to have that you have to establish the boundaries, like you said, Jenny. But you can't just a parent shouldn't just be the child's friend and just go with the flow and just do whatever the child wants to do. And no, that again, back to balance. There needs to be nurturing, but then there needs to be the punishment side too, because you have to teach them both sides. It's just when a parent is just either too friendly, then I don't you're gonna mess up your child as well. Or if you're on the other side and you're just punishing all the time and not really getting to know your child, it's going to be a problem. Karen says being the child's friend is a slippery slope. I can see being their friend after you raise them. Good point. And when they are an adult, but no, no, don't be their friend. Right. And I agree with that too. But again, it has to be balanced. If you know how to balance it, and if you're if you're their friend but with boundaries, like Jenny was saying, and they understand, like if I get out of line, then mom or dad is still going to check me, so they're not. Yeah, we're good and we have a good time together, but no. So that's a good thing. So Karen says mothers are judged so much by the women in their lives. Yeah. So what happens when they're judged, Karen? What do you mean by that? So they're judged by who? Like grandma, um, by their friends. So they have to do a certain thing to. What do you mean by mothers are judged? It's a good statement. Mothers are judged so much by the women in their lives. Okay, and let's see what Tanisha said. Um, Tanisha says, I think jealousy is another toxic trait. Unfortunately, there are mothers that are jealous of their own children. Yes, 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 yes. And sometimes a lot of it is, um, especially if like there's a divorce or that daughter looks like the dad or the son looks like the dad, then the mother is just maybe the mother didn't have a good relationship with the dad, so she doesn't like the child or feels like the child is prettier than she was. It's kind of like what that lady was saying. Some moms try to live vicariously through their daughters, and sometimes they get jealous of them, and that's a lot. A lot of and the problem with this is a lot of moms don't realize that they're jealous. They just know that they don't care for that daughter, or they're always punishing that daughter no matter what. And so, yeah, that's a lot. It's hard to be a mom, y'all. I congratulate all the women out there who've had children and who've done it successfully, because it's hard to, especially if you're a young mom, to kind of know, to kind of figure out all of this stuff and like what can hurt your child and what can't hurt your child. But one thing we do know that hurts the children is if you're just punishing them all the time and you're not nurturing them and giving you're not showing love and empathy and sympathy. like Breeny said in the video, then it's gonna cause the child um, a lot of issues later down in the road. And I even and like Breeny said in the video, toxic mothers are nothing but broken girls trying to figure this thing out. Most people are broken in childhood. Yep, and I agree with that. Do y'all agree with that statement? And Nicole Kelly says consistently passing down that toxic behavior. Yes, and the sad part is some people are not even aware that they're passing it down. But Brainy, the lady who created the video, made a good point. She says toxic mothers, and I'm going to keep reading this because it was profound. This statement: toxic mothers are nothing but broken girls trying to figure this thing out. Most people are broken in childhood. Yes, and it's back to what a lot of y'all said is that the moms learned that behavior, that toxic behavior in their childhood, and then they just continued it on. And like Kelly mentioned, I think, well, why don't people get it? Why don't mothers or toxic fathers change? And it's like they think that they're right. They think that everything that they're doing as a parent is right. And I guarantee if you ask them, they're like, yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. You know, that's where the toxicity comes in, and it's just passed on and passed on and passed on. So Jenny says, well, sometimes I see things that my daughter is doing and I feel isn't right. I make suggestions to her, not trying to tell her what to do. Yeah, because you feel like you have a little more experience now. And but that's the problem is another thing is when the mom is doing the thing that she thinks is best, she's not gonna listen to anybody outside. It's what the lady who created the video, Breeny said, is that I'm your mom. Like she said, she tried to tell somebody, you shouldn't do that this or that to your child, and the mom response was, well, that's my child. And that's the problem when people try to help the toxic mom. And that's why videos like this and sharing videos like this, because it could be the smallest thing and you could be hurting your child, especially decision making. That's the biggest thing that I see that children are left with when their parents are just so controlling and punish them all the time. Then that child grows up to be an adult and can't make decisions. I asking everybody how to do this and that, and or can't even get a career because they're just so unsure of everything. And you just create so much low self-esteem in the children when you just take over their lives, or when you don't nurture them, then they're seeking love from all the wrong places, or and you wonder why are they doing this. And like Kelly said earlier, is like um you grow up trying to find love and figure love out. And so it's really a bad generation. What's up, Gregory Thomas? And Greg says, let's see what Greg says here. The child needs a parent as a juvenile. I definitely had the toxic teenage mother, and unfortunately, she didn't survive long enough to show me that she could be a good mother. Um, Scrolling up, the damage had already been done to me at the age of 10 when she died. Fortunately, I created a great father in me, although it did affect the way that I approach relationships. Yes. So thank you for sharing. I'm going to break that down, Gregory. I'm going to read it again. Thank you for sharing as well. The child needs a parent as a juvenile. Um, I definitely had the toxic teenage mother, and unfortunately, she didn't survive long enough to show me that she could be a good mother. The damage was already done um, to me at age 10 when she died. Fortunately, it created a great father in me, although it did affect the way that I approach relationships. So, how did you figure out, Greg? How did you figure out, I guess, the negative impact or the nurturing that you didn't get? How did you change that to be a positive father, if that makes sense? So how did you learn to be a good father if you didn't have that your mother figure in your life? And thank you for sharing that. But even in doing therapy, I realized that mothers don't realize how important their lives are. Okay, Karen. Karen says mothers are constantly being told how to raise their kids by their own moms, friends. So that's what you meant by the other statement that you had earlier. Mothers are constantly being told how to raise their kids by their own moms, friends, society. They have to figure it out for themselves. They don't know what they don't know and that they need help. Yes, and that's a good point. Um, they're only doing the best they can, and that's why I always tell my clients, we're not bashing your parents. They just didn't, they did the best they could. But like Greg's point, Greg says a child needs, their parents, and they do, but they need a parent that's balanced, that has the nurturing side and that has the punishment side, like we said before. But without that balance on either end, it's going to create conflict. So what I want y'all to hear is the impact of having a toxic mother. I'm going to bring the video back up and let me know what y'all think about this. Let's see.
2 and 4 child. Y'all gonna get a long video. Said I have the greatest compassion for toxic mothers. Why? Because toxic mothers are simply just little broken girls trying to figure this thing out, probably with no direction from their own parents. And this is why my channel is here, to help everyone heal, because we all need healing. But this video today is for the child, so I will speak directly to and for the child. Y'all gonna get a long video today. The negative effects on a child who grows up with a toxic mother can be disastrous. It can cause low self-esteem, poor self-image, hard time making decisions for themselves, lack of confidence, lack of personal boundaries. They can't say no. It can cause them to neglect themselves. It can cause them to be codependent on others, or it can cause them to be independent of others. It can also make a child very childish. They are stuck at the age of 6 when they're 26. It can create an immaturity in a child. They can't think for themselves. They're forever a child because of the control of their mothers. It can cause a child to feel unworthy, disconnected, hypersensitive to everything, cannot take criticism because it's personal, because it was always personal with their mother, defensive, loneliness, lack of trust in people. The list is endless. Most of the broken people in this world were broken in childhood by their parents. Okay, so what is the remedy for this? Number one, I will say, grieve the loss of this parent-child relationship. Actually settle within yourself that what you wanted from your mother at the time, she was not able to give it to you, and she may not ever be able to give it to you. When you lower your expectations for your mother, you won't live life disappointed until your mother gets her own healing. And sometimes it's very rare at the age that they are. It's rare, but it's not impossible. Until they get their healing and actually realize what they've done to you, you're gonna have to do the closure for yourself and grieve the loss of your parent, especially if they've already died. But you almost have to grieve your alive parents as though they were gone, because the person that you wanted them to be, they couldn't, and they probably never will be. And secondly, I want to say, you are an adult now. Even if you're not past the age of 18, you are an adult now. If you're watching this video, you are mature enough to reparent yourself. And what does reparenting yourself mean? It means meeting your own needs, asking yourself, what do I need at this moment? And being brave enough to give it to yourself. Thirdly, know that you are never alone. God has been my father when I had no father. God has been my mother when I've had no mother. Really genuinely accept the love of our good Father, our Heavenly Father, who has never left us, never forsaken us. Even when we feel like we're alone, we are never alone. God is always watching out for us. God is always protecting us. Believe that. When my mother and my father forsake me, the Lord will take me in. Number 4, set healthy, solid boundaries. It is not rude to tell someone, this is where I start and this is where I end. Boundaries are for protection. Why do we have gates on our houses? Why do we have fences? It's to cause division from one house to another. You need to be bold enough to tell your mother, no, this is me. No, I'm not doing that. No, I won't. And set your boundaries and keep them set. Yes, your mother will push your boundaries, but keep reinforcing them. If they're gonna act like a child, you be the adult in a situation. Keep reinforcing your boundaries. And it's not rude to say how you feel, but it is rude if you communicate it in a rude way. Next, know that you do not have to become your parent. You don't have to become the person that hurt you. And a lot of people are running so far away from being like their parents and running away from the failure of their parents that when opportunity actually meets them, they don't want failure, but they don't know what to do with success. They don't know what to do when a man comes and they actually want to be in a relationship with you. They know how to deal with the failed relationships, but do you really know how to deal with success when it comes your way? Can you really deal with being pleased, being loved, being protected? That's something you have to work on. Next, entertain the idea that whatever they said about you could be wrong. And I think a lot of us, we grow up with lies that we've been told, but because it's coming from our mother, we believe them. You need to entertain the idea that what she said about you isn't true. When it's not true, it has no power to hurt you. Lies can roll off your back. It's only when you believe the lie and it becomes true to you is when you start to crumble. The next thing I will say is if you're still living under her roof, the next thing I would say is to move out. It's very, very hard to stand your ground when you're standing in your mother's house, the one who pays the bills. You have to get your independence and separate from that person, especially a toxic mother. If you can't move out, play the waiting game. Whilst you're there, be respectful. This is one thing as well. Kill her with kindness. Retaliating or snapping back is only adding insult to injury, is only adding more fuel to fire. The advice that I'll give my young girls who are dealing with toxic mothers is to don't react. Don't take it personally. I know it's easier said than done, but don't react because your toxic mother wants a reaction out of you. Don't give her the satisfaction. Repay evil with good. Next thing I will say is forgive, 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 forgive. And I've said this a lot in one of my videos on childhood. A lot of people find it very difficult, a concept that is very difficult to really grasp because they feel like when you're forgiving someone, you're letting them off the hook. And what we want most is to make people pay. We want mercy for ourselves, but we want judgment, we want penalty, we want recompense from the ones that hurt us. Try to put yourself in her shoes, try to be compassionate about what she's gone through in her life, and try not to make this thing about you. Finally, I will say seek therapy. Therapy has been a huge help for me. I started therapy and every single time I would go there, I was thinking, oh my God, this is going to take so long. I don't have time. I'm never going to get healed. 2 years later went by so fast. I realized that the person that I had become had completely changed. Shout out my therapist, Jane. I'm not going to say her last name because she's gonna say, Breeny, take the video down. But yeah, therapy. Do not be afraid to get help, to seek help. You can really work out and work through these things by talking to someone. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I decided to give you guys a long video.
So what did y'all think? We're gonna close this out. So Divine Beauty says, "Hello, toxic mothers wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of their behavior, right? You know, and that's the thing. A lot of them don't know that they're toxic, and so yeah. Hey, Nikita. So this Breeny told us how having a toxic mother really impacts the child. If you missed that, just rewind the video once I post it. But this is a good show. Any more comments before we close out? But thanks for everybody joining and hanging in there and staying and listening. Great topics. Anything else before we leave? Any more comments or anything like that? Going once, going twice. Oh, there we go. Kelly says she dropped a lot of jewels. Yeah, very, very insightful. It's like she said, the list can go on and on. How a toxic mom can just impact you, kind of, you know. Tanisha says Penny's mom was toxic. Penny from Good Times. When Bologna had to take Penny away, Janet Jackson, Penny. So yes, that is a good example. Yes, and Karen says, have a fabulous weekend, everyone. So great, y'all. Thank y'all for staying on. Yes, Jenny, we do. We thank the Lord for our mother and father. We had good parents. Um, so thank you, everybody, for listening. And we will talk in 2 weeks with another topic. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Greg. Thank you for jumping on, actually. All right, y'all.